Okay guys, so in this video we're going to be talking about how we can actually reach out to those prospects that we just compiled on that list on Excel. So one thing I quickly want to mention here is I'm going to give you two scripts here. The first one here is going to be an email script, and I'll label it here and I'll put it in the members area. So this is going to be the email script, and this is going to be the phone script. But if you look at the email script, this is not geared towards mass emails. So let me explain here really quick. So what this is geared towards is more getting a response from a smaller list. So if you remember on that list we made before, it was manually compiled. So we were manually going in, copying the company name, the phone number, the website, and the review rating and all that kind of stuff. So what I was when I made this product, I was making it towards people who are starting at that level, not people who necessarily can buy the software right now or anything else. I geared the product towards people who are making the list manually. So if you're mass emailing, you can use a different email, but this email is geared towards getting responses from people who are by a list of 20, 30, or 50 people, right? So that's pretty much the biggest list I would use with this, right? A list of 50 people, see how many responses you get from this initial email. So let's go over the email here really quick. So this is a personalized email, right? So we're going to say, hey, the owner of the company, right? Or the company name. The ideal situation is if you have the owner's name, but if you don't, you can put the company name. I wanted to quickly introduce myself because I noticed we were both members of a small business networking Facebook group. So this can be anything, right? This is something personal to that business or that owner, right? So if that business was recently mentioned in the news, was on TV, or if you see they're part of the same group as you on Facebook, stuff like this, right? Something that they did recently that you can mention out and pick out so they know this is not a mass email, right? So then you're gonna say basically you looked at their Google review, it was about a 3 star, whatever rating it was, right? And we help companies attain a 5 star review. Then you put a screenshot of their Google Map listing. Again, this is going to be a more personalized email. So, you can't fake this stuff. This has to be a real screenshot. You go in. I use something called Jing, right? If you guys want to go ahead and use that for screenshots and screenshot their maps listing right here, and then you can put here's a before and after of a company that we helped recently. Now you can put a before and after picture there. Maybe after you have one or two clients under your belt, but that doesn't necessarily need to be there. I just put that in there because that helps with response rates. But again, if you don't have the initial proof, then no big deal. You don't have to put that in there. Then we ended off with since your company ranks for your business name, I'm sure the 3 star review is impacting how many customers are coming into your business and stuff like that. Then we ended off right. So this email right here gets me, give or take about a 60% response rate, depending on how personalized I get with it, right? So if I I've kind of tested with the top line here. If there's a business who's recently been in the news or something like that, have negative reviews and stuff like that, then if you put that in there, you will have a higher response rate as opposed to just a mass email, right? So we geared this email towards people who are compiling a list manually and to send more manual emails and get a higher response rate as opposed to sending just mass emails. Again, so the goal of this email is going to be to get a response back so that we can schedule an appointment for a follow-up call. And on that follow-up call was going to be our first contact with the client, and we're going to be closing them on the first contact. Okay, so I also put in here some subject lines that work really well. You guys can interchange these, see what works best for your industry. You're not always going to get the same results that I'm getting. So sometimes I get a 60% response rate. Sometimes I get a 40% response rate, but this email works. So use this email verbatim. Don't change it, and you'll get results, right? So now this is the phone pitch. So I'm a phone guy. I love getting on the phone, and if this pitch can be used on that follow-up call after you send the email, it can also be used as a one-call close. Whatever you want to do with this email is interchangeable. Sorry, this phone script is interchangeable between both. So when that person replies to this, you can go ahead and schedule an appointment with them, and then this is going to be your first actual phone contact with them, and you're going to be closing them on this contact with this phone pitch right here. So I'm going to go through the phone pitch here really quick. So we say, hey, this is whatever your name is from company in reference to your Google account, right? And when you say that, you want to be in reference to your Google account, right? Because you want to have a high pitch at the end there. Now that's just a sales thing, but what we're trying to do here is we're trying to reach for a reference, so that way they know that, oh, we were the guy that emailed them earlier, right? If you're doing the follow-up call, if you know, or if even if you're doing a cold call, you want to reach for some reference so they think that they talked to you before, whether they did or they did not. So you're trying to reach for a reference there. That's why I put the question mark. So you want to end that off in reference to your Google Maps account, right? That's how you want to end that off there. So listen, the reason for the call is we noticed that you were at a 3.5 star review on Google. We want to fix that, make it a 5, and get rid of some of the negative reviews you have on there. And before we get any further, what's your average customer worth to you? So ask that question because we're going to use that question against them later on in the pitch. So if they say, my average customer is worth like $1,000 to me, right? Then we're gonna put that in later on the script right here. So you see, based on our internal numbers here, you're losing about $30,000 for having these 3.5 star reviews. Now, if you're going to get rid of those, you can whatever. We basically go into that they're losing money if they don't go with your service, basically. Right? So that's what we're trying to get at. And this is true, right? Because depending on the search volume for that particular keyword or what they're showing up for, they are losing a lot of money depending on how much their customer's worth to them. Now, use some common sense. If they say their customer's worth $50 to them, you don't want to be saying you're losing about $30,000. You want to lower that number, right? You could be losing $5,000, $7,000, whatever it is, $10,000, right? For having those negative reviews, right? Now, at the end, the way we close them here is we say, now all I'm asking for, John, is 10% of your trust, and I will earn the 90% over the next 12 months. What's the email I can send the invoice to? Now, if they give you that email after you say, what's the email I can send the invoice to, the deal is done. Take the email, send them the invoice, and provide the reviews for them, right? That's all you need to do. This is the script that I use to get deals done. Now, in later on in this product, I'm going to show you guys a case study where I used the exact same pitch on an appointment call to close a deal, right? And you're going to kind of see what happened on that call and how I got that client to actually work with our company. So that way you guys can get a feel for how I use this script to actually close deals. Now, that's pretty much it for this video. Get out there, use these scripts. I'm going to put them in the description here, and you'll get results. That's pretty much it. If you guys don't implement this stuff, you won't get results. And I'll see you guys in the next video.